Welcome to Morning Joe with Tom, with your host, Thomas Chappell. Get ready to listen to real-life stories from inspiring leaders who have overcome incredible challenges to rise to the occasion. If you're ready to add some pep to your morning with a new outlook on leadership, then grab your cup of coffee. It's time to be inspired. Here's your host, Thomas Chappell.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for joining the show today.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for my listeners, Jeff and I, we have a common friend, Sean Mice, and that's how that we met. And Jeff has really done some great work in the past, and he's got some great things to share with us today. So Jeff, if you don't mind, why don't you give a little bit of an introduction about yourself to our folks and tell us a little bit about what makes you famous.
So thanks, Thomas. Thomas, I work with wage earners and business owners, government employees, worried about their retirement funds. They could be drowning in debt and puzzled about their spending, looking to find their financial peace, so to speak. So I work with them, and together we ditch the debt. We get them on track to knowing where the money is going and get them into a safe haven for saving for retirement. And we say goodbye to that money stress.
Yeah, I definitely know what that's like. And you and I have had some offline conversations on it. My picture's not too pretty either. So, I carry the ugly baby.
Well, that's great. I mean, honestly, in today's environment, unfortunately, what I just talked about hits home with so many people. I mean, a lot of business owners are struggling to make ends meet. They're trying to plan for retirement, and debt is at an all-time high in our nation. So it's running rampant, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've noticed it the last almost a little over 3 years has been a real struggle. So yeah, I understand. So why don't you just kind of like walk us through a little bit what this means toward being able to de-stress the financial play?
Walking you through is really, it's a quality of life at this point for most of us. Money is a challenge for managing it. A lot of people living paycheck to paycheck and having difficulties of stress, health, relationships, with their better half, or their other half, I should say. I shouldn't say better half. But within their relationships with their spouse, their significant other, even with their children, and being able to kind of live the life that they want to live and be able to breathe, knowing that not only are they taking care of themselves in today's environment, but they're beginning to plan for the future, because we all want to retire at some point. And one of the things I talk to my clients about is when you do retire, if you want to go back to work, it's because you want to go back to work, not because you have to go back to work because you can't pay your bills or inflation's going at an all-time high. I get it today. I talk to folks today. So, hey, Jeff, I wish I could plan for retirement, but I need every nickel, every dime, every dollar to meet my bills today.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. But, that goes into a different phrase of mine is when I ask people, hey, do you know where your money's going today?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what the response I get most of the time is they laugh because most people have no clue where their money's going.
Yep. So, I've talked to a lot of friends of mine as well. They're all like myself. We're all entrepreneurial folks and all, but I see them at the same level. I mean, even if let's say that at best, some of the folks that I'm with, some of them may have close to $1 million, but not quite there, right? Saved up for their retirement. And I struggle to kind of even see the point at this point with some of these things, because it's like it's taking so much to live. And, then you got to claw back for taxes and all. And then whenever you kind of look at this, $1 million just doesn't carry you very far. I mean, come retirement. And so, whenever I'm hearing these people talk about, oh, I got 500,000 saved, I got $1 million saved, I'm kind of scratching my head and saying, well, that's just keeping you so many years until you have to go to work at Walmart.
Yeah, that's, one of the things that we do is we look at where you are today. And actually, one of the things I would kind of say to you, Tom, is do you know what your retirement score is? And most people, no idea exactly. Most people have heard about their credit score, but they don't know anything about the retirement score. So one of the first things that we would do, if that was your main concern, is about retirement. So let's say we took you $1 million or $500,000 or whatever that number is. And I have a program that we plug it into, and then we look at the lifestyle that you want to project out, that you want to have in the future when you do retire. And then we look at, well, how many years will that $1 million last? And are you diversify? And I don't sell investments. Okay. That's not and I don't manage your money. Okay. But all we're doing is I'm looking at analytics to say, hey, based upon what you're telling me, you have about, let's just say hypothetically, 65% chance that you won't run out of money in retirement. And what I try to do is show you, hey, if we did this or if you did that, we now went to 82%, or we went to 88% of your retirement score. So if we went from 65 to 88, would you do the things that we just suggested to improve your score? I mean, it's logic. It doesn't, really cost you anything to find out, what your score is, or for me to do this for you. So it turns out to be a win-win. And, and then from the business owner perspective, some of the people always go, well, I can't do something for myself, which isn't true. But if you want to take care of some of your employees because of you're afraid of them leaving, or you want to provide them some benefits, we began this conversation a little bit when we first spoke. But there are vehicles out there that you can choose to provide incentives or perks to some of your key employees and not have to worry about, or be concerned with, I should say, covering everyone in your company, because that obviously gets to be very costly if you were going to provide them some premium or some benefit for subsidizing that as well. So if retirement is the topic of the conversation that we would get into, we would look at first, like I said, determining what your retirement score is today. Then I would take a little bit of some time to kind of look at your scenario and come back with some suggestions. And at the end of the day, it's about improving that score.
Okay. So what's a typical engagement look like from a timeline perspective? How soon do they find out their score? How soon do they kind of get a journey that they can start walking down to kind of fix their situation?
Well, getting their score is, setting up an appointment, honestly, and kind of going through, what they currently have today and being able to, so within a 2-week time frame, I'll answer your question that way. We can go from, understanding where you are today, giving you some time and opportunity to, work with your situation, and then have another meeting to come back and say, hey, if you did this, and that, your score would now increase. So that's a short-term journey where we're focused on the expression of retirement journey. Some people I work with are on a 90-day basis as well, a time frame where they're making 6 figures, and they kind of what I said earlier, I don't know where my money's going, Jeff. I can't save anything, blah, blah, blah. So, that would be kind of, let's begin to track and understand where your spending is, where we could actually save you some money, where we can, because it's really about focus at the end of the day.
Right. Right.
And you notice I haven't used the term budget. I won't use the term budget, okay? Because budgets are negative. They have a very, you're laughing at it too, because you're saying the last thing I want to do is do a budget,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
But, and I'm not asking you to do a budget, but I'm asking folks to become a little more aware and conscious of where their money is going and where they're spending it. So we do begin to track it, and then we look at where your money is going. And the most common thing that most people will talk about, and especially from when you look at cash flow, so to speak, is the famous $5 coffee going to Starbucks a day. Okay, I'll do the most obvious one because that's one that a lot of people live on, or spend a lot of money at Starbucks. So between the coffee and the Danish, it's $10 for breakfast, $50 a week, $250, a month conceivably, right?
Mhm.
Could we do a little different? Could we, make our own coffee at home? Or could we go to the store and get our own cupcakes, or for half the price or a third? And could we pocket $100 out of that and use that towards a retirement or to pay off your debt, or do something with it? Because the other aspect is really what's up in the mind. I mean, we all have a little money mindset, so to speak.
Mhm.
Some of us are savers, some of us are spenders, some of us are kind of a little bit on both. And a lot of it is on how we were brought up, the beliefs that our parents provided or gave us. If they ever discuss money with the kids, or even if you ever hear them discuss it with their wife or their husband. I've talked to a lot of married couples and they don't discuss finances.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife is much better at the finances than I am. But I'm much better at earning it. And, you never realize how quickly that retirement day is coming. I'm 53 now, and suddenly I realized and said, maybe I kept thinking I lost my first two retirements right out through with companies and their investment schemes, and ended up they blew up. I blew my stuff blew up too. So going through that now, and I'm being at the age that I'm at, I'm like looking at this and say, okay, I've got conceivably 20 more years maybe that I could work. And then I'm kind of like, going to be the smiling guy at Walmart saying, welcome to Walmart, unless I'm working for myself still. Right. But let's, that time is so short. And, you know, uh, I'm really happy that there's people out there like you, because I've heard good things about what you do. So,
Thank you.
uh, like you out there, kind of giving us a chance to kind of like recover and kind of work through this, because it's not easy. I mean, there was all kinds of, ours got sucked through toxic assets. I mean, our person doing our investments bought a lot of real estate that kind of went out the wrong way, right? So, so going through that, and I think I like your program from a different perspective as well. You're not an advisor trying to grab the money. You're a guy that is got some special talents that is able to kind of put a plan together that people can follow. And that's what I think I like. It's like the win for you is seeing them win.
Definitely, and that's where I get my joy and my pleasure out of watching people win at the end of the day. To be very honest with you, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so listeners, for all of you out there that haven't started any kind of retirement planning or have a lot of questions about the retirement planning process, look, you need to get a hold of Jeff. He's the guy to speak with on this, because he's got unbiased views on this. And I'm probably one of the few that I know that actually do have that. So, so Jeff, I love our conversation here, but how would our listeners normally reach out to you to like kind of even start this conversation?
So the simple way for the listeners is if they want to just schedule, again, this is all complimentary. So they can go out to speakwithjeff.com. Sorry, I got my dog back walking in the background.
Beautiful puppy.
Again, if they would like to schedule some time, my calendar is available to go to speakwithjeff.com. You'll see, several days, times that are open. Just book a time, and happy to have a conversation with them. Or they can check out the website, obviously, as well, which is www.Brandeis Financial, which is spelled B as in boy, RANDEIS, financial.com. And when, Tom, if we can drop some links down in the below, that would help the folks too.
I'll be adding all the links to there on how to contact you, because I think it's an important mission. I mean, this is not, they can come and get unvarnished information from you. And that's what we need. There's not enough transparency in this retirement market.
Yeah, and every person's plans in the future is different. So this isn't a one expression, a boilerplate. The things I'm going to recommend to you, Tom, would be totally different than conceivably what I would recommend to Charlie or Joan or whomever I might speak with. So your aspirations and how you want to retire is yours. So they're all customizable plans.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So you've told us the what and the how. And you've told us how to contact with you. So for my last question that I would ask is, leave us with the why. Why do you do this?
Well, I came out of school as an accountant. So I spent 5 years in public accounting firms helping people save on taxes. The journey that I do today for people like yourself are no different than what I've been there myself. You talk about some of your personal, challenges with your retirement. I've been there too, without, being in debt, trying to get myself out. No one really explaining to me what to focus on, how to talk to a creditor, how to negotiate with them. And I'm not talking about bankruptcy or debt, consolidation. I don't believe in that, but there are ways to be able to prioritize your debts and minimize the interest. And I also can program that and show people how to get out of debt faster and more efficiently than what they're probably doing today. But for me, I've been there, I've experienced it. So the three things that I focus on are near and dear to me. So because I've lived through it, and now I'm just trying to help others solve the problem that is going across the U.S. right now. It's rampant, and it's also rampant in probably overseas too. But having to live it, breathe it, it is my why.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. Do you have any final words for the listeners?
No matter how bad you think your situation is, there is a way to work with you, a way to get you out. The first step is just raising your hand and being proactive and to have a conversation. That's, my words of wisdom is, it's really admitting that you do need help, because sometimes that's the hardest thing to do from an individual purpose, is to reach out, make an appointment, and to say, hey, I need help. I mean, I was there. I feel the same way.
We all need help once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, I really thank you for your time today. I know you're a very good person, and listeners, get on his books. I'm telling you, you want to do this, and you want to know where you're at. So
thanks again for having me, Thomas. I totally appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Morning Joe with Tom. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss an episode. See you next time for more real-life stories and inspiration on Morning Joe with Tom.